He didn't tell you that. I told him if he got up and read half of that, I would shoot him in the leg. So I know some of y'all are disappointed because I'm not going to wear my wig today. John Monk asked me to wear the wig. I didn't bring it, and I didn't bring Michael Phelps's gold medals either to wear them. So this program has been planned for a couple months now. So it wasn't something that the events in Missouri caused me to be invited here. This has been planned, but I think it is a very good opportunity for me to come in and talk about some things that were going on. Before I do that, I got to talk about Chief Holbrook. We got a good chief. I can tell you right now, we got a good chief. The chief has came in. He's worked very closely with me. He's worked very closely with other law enforcement agency heads in this area. He's getting the Columbia Police Department on the right track. He is a very professional, ethical individual. I'm glad to have him as the chief, and I look forward to continuing our relationship. I'll have to tell you, we're like a couple of old women. We call each other probably every single day or text each other every day. We keep in contact. We ask each other what's going on. We talk to each other about issues. We talk about things that are going on, and we're working together. And I just want to say, Chief, welcome. Glad to see that you're joining this Rotary Club. It's almost as good as the Spring Valley Club. I was invited to come talk about our, we don't call it SWAT team, we call it SRT, Special Response Team. That's what the initial invitation was, to come and talk about our team and some of the equipment that we've got and what we do. I am going to talk about that, but I'm going to talk about how it relates to what's going on out in Missouri also. I think the events in Missouri speak very loudly about what not to do or how to do it the wrong way. And I never like to criticize anybody else, but I think what you've seen out in Ferguson has been a nightmare on community relations and public relations. Just how that whole incident happened and what happened before it, I think, is something that we can all use as a textbook on things that we should not be doing, how we should be doing it a better way. And I'll talk a little bit about what I do, what the chief is doing at the Columbia Police Department with the community and stuff. And you can almost compare them, that how we, and I say the police department too, we're over here and what they were doing is over there. You know, one of the first things is they haven't built a relationship with the community. That incident last week was just, I think, the spark that got a huge fire that's going, that's been smoldering for a long time. It was already there. It just didn't start with the shooting of that man. It started a long time before that with not building a relationship with the community and having mistrust. And what that causes when that shooting happened, that just made it explode. And it could have been prevented in a lot of different ways by building a relationship with the community. One, you know, you have to look at the diversity of your community, and your department has to reflect the diversity of the community that you serve. Richland County is very diverse. We have to reflect that diversity within the police department and within the sheriff's department by reaching out to minorities and just giving them the opportunity to come to the sheriff's department, come to the police department and be employed. Not set quotas, but just give them that open door ability to come in and be on equal ground. And if you do that, then you're going to fill your department with diversity. And that's what we've done for a long time. And our department reflects that diversity. We've got African American deputies. We've got Asian deputies. We've got deputies from the Middle East. We've got Hispanic deputies. We have a little bit of everything. And when you're in the community and you see a police officer, and you see their uniform, but you also look at them. And if they look like you, then that goes a long way in building a relationship and building trust. And that's what we have to have in the community between law enforcement and the community, is trust. If the community doesn't trust us, then we're not doing our job. And it's not just about locking people up. That's a small percentage of what we do, is putting people in jail. It's what we do on those other times that we're not putting someone in jail. What are we doing? Are we building a relationship with everybody in our community? Not just one part, but everybody. We serve everybody. I'm not elected sheriff for just one area or just one section. I'm the sheriff for everybody. The chief is the police chief for everybody in the city of Columbia. We have to serve everybody. And the community has to understand that we're here for them. We're not going to treat anybody special. We're going to treat everybody the same. That's what they want in law enforcement. They want your law enforcement agency to treat everybody the same. And when you do that with your community, you build that relationship with them. And you do that by going out and spending time with them and listening to them and being there. Going to community meetings, going to back to school bashes, going to churches, going to schools, doing so many things that you can go out and reach that community that we serve and build that relationship. And when you do that, when you have an incident like that happened the other day, the community trusts the law enforcement. They say, you know what? I trust them. Let's listen to them. Let's give them a chance, find out what's going on, and not jump to conclusions and not create rumors and stuff. But if you don't have that relationship and the community doesn't trust you, then that's where you're going to have your problems. And you're going to have an explosion like you did. Nothing excuses those people who are looting and burning and stealing. There's no excuse for that. That's different than the protests that they're doing. Those are people that are criminals and they should be dealt with. But the citizens have a right to know. We shouldn't keep secrets from them. And that's where the public relations has been a nightmare, because the law enforcement agency has kept secret on what happened and what they did. If you'll watch, whenever we have a shooting in Richland County that one of our officers involved, and also in the city of Columbia, one of the first things we do, I respond to it, the chief responder in Richland, we had one, we get the initial facts. You can't get all the facts because it's going right then and it's still going on, but you get the initial facts and you go to the media and you talk to the media so they can bring it to the public. And you give them the basics of what happened. When you do that, you're not the community says, well, they're not hiding anything, they're telling us. There's no reason never to give an officer's name either. That officer's a public employee. He just went out, or she went out and did something representing this community. Why not give out their name and tell about that officer? Just like we get up and tell about the bad guy, what the bad guy did, this is his record, this is what happened. You do the same thing about the officers. You give that out to the community. When you don't, then the community goes, what are they hiding? They must be hiding something. You got to give the facts out. And when you don't, you see what's happening in Missouri. All kind of people make up stuff, all kind of people create stuff, and then you have a problem, and then it explodes like it has. And now you have all kind of problems throughout the United States, and it impacts us here too. It impacts law enforcement and communities throughout the United States. From what's happening out of Missouri, it has an impact here. You know, but there's a lot of ways that you can prevent that from happening by just doing your job and doing it right and being open and being honest. If you screw up, you just get up and say, we screwed up. We apologize for it. We screwed up. We're going to learn from it and move forward. But there's no such thing as a no comment. You can always say something. Give the community, give the public something, because they want to know and they deserve to know. We work for the community. We work for the citizens. We don't have a right to keep stuff secret from them when it should be released. And that's what we've tried to do, and that's what we'll continue to do. I've been asked quite a few times recently, could that happen in Columbia? Could what happened in Missouri happen in Richland County in the Columbia area? I don't think so. I don't think so, because of the relationship that we've built over the years. You can't wait till an incident happens and say, okay, let me start seeing what community members I need to build a relationship with, or what community leaders I need to call. You've had to do that years prior. You had to build that up. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens over a period of time. And I see that where it didn't happen out there, and now everybody's paying the price in Ferguson for what didn't occur years ago and been continuing to do on a continuous basis. We welcome the public to know what we do. I have a Citizens Advisory Council. I've had it now for 18 years. The only law enforcement agency in the state of South Carolina that has one, that allows a group of citizens that represents different organizations, different communities, different minority groups. They come in, they look at our policy and procedures, they look at incidents that we have, they look at internal affairs complaints, they look at officer-involved shootings, and they give us a perspective from the citizens. And that group of 16 citizens also knows what we do, why we do it, and how we do it. So if there is an officer-involved shooting, we let them know the facts. The facts that we can give them, we let them know. So they become our voice out in the community to keep people from creating rumors. So when the police chief or the sheriff doesn't go on a scene and give you the basics information of what's happened, the media is going to find somebody, and it's probably going to tend to be some crack addict who was 15 miles away, had no clue what went on, but he's going to get on camera and he's going to tell something, and he's going to make up a story. But it gets printed or it gets put out in the media, and what happens? People believe it. People believe it. So you have to create the sense of trust, and you have to give that information out. Now, the knee-jerk reaction due to all the armored vehicles and all the military stuff out there, yeah, that's going to probably hurt everybody when it shouldn't have to hurt everybody. Was it used properly? I wasn't there, I can't say, but it sure looked bad. It looked bad. It looked bad on the shootings and the tear gas and the vehicles and some of the stuff they did. I don't know if it was justified or not, but taking and putting someone in an armed state like that scares the heck out of everybody, and it just didn't look good. Again, your public relations nightmare that's caused, that's now a huge community relations nightmare that is caused also. All the equipment you saw on TV, we got every bit of it. I have every piece of equipment there is, and we've had them for years. And you probably see them out every weekend. You go to any church, festival, community group, school, you name it. The number one requested pieces of equipment that people want to see is our tank and our MRAP. They want to see this stuff. We show it. We take it out. We want people to see it. Why? One, we want the bad guys to know that we got it, and maybe that'll scare them off. Number two is our community wants to see what we've got, and we bring it out there and they see the good things. You think those citizens in Missouri had ever seen that department's MRAP or the tanks that they had? You think they ever seen them at a school or a neighborhood meeting or a back to school bash? Probably not. First time they probably ever saw them is when they were getting shot at by them. We put them in the community. This is a military-friendly community. We have a lot of ex-military here. They like to look at these toys. You know, they say they want the kids to see them, but it's the adults who play on them more than anybody else. But what does it do? It generates a conversation with those officers that are out there with that piece of equipment to where you start building that relationship that we want to have, that good relationship. They start talking about it. They get in, they look at it, they ask questions, they talk, they meet, they see that we're just regular people. They see that the deputies and the police officers are just regular humans out here, and that's what our job is to go out and protect you. And this is something we have. Hope we never have to use it. We've never had to use what we've got, but I've got it if we need to. Why did I get it? 11 years ago in Abbeville County, you had two deputy sheriffs that were shot. You had a father and son that barricaded themselves in the house. One of the deputies were dead in the yard. They had another deputy that was in the house. Didn't know if he was alive or not. For the next 8 hours, those two guys inside that house held off Abbeville, SLED, all the other agencies. They did not have one vehicle or piece of equipment that they could get to that house to go in and see if that officer was alive and rescue him. SLED's vehicle finally got there after many, many hours, some 6 hours it got there. The house was so high up, the wheels on the armored vehicle they have couldn't get up there to where it needed to be. So they had to bring a welder in and get a piece of big old metal and weld on to their armored vehicle so they could go in and knock it down. Fortunately, the deputy was already dead, but we didn't know that. That standoff lasted for hours. At that point, I said, that's not going to happen in Richland County. If I need a piece of equipment, I'm going to have it, and we're going to go out and get it. So the Maryland National Guard gave us an APC, Armored Personnel Carrier, M113A. It was used in Vietnam. Didn't cost us a penny. It's called a Peacemaker. We put it in the newspaper and let the community name it. The community named it a Peacemaker. You know, in the Bible, it's blessed are the peacemakers, so they be called the children of God. The community named it a Peacemaker. Everybody wants to see our Peacemaker. The bad guys never want to see it. The good guys always want to see it. We've never had to use it and pull it out if we had it. We needed another armored vehicle. Our first armored vehicle came from an armored car company in Columbia area where I knew a guy and they gave us one. We ran the wheels off that thing. We needed something else. Kershaw County had an MRAP, Mine Resistance Ambush Protected. That's what MRAP stands for. They wanted to get rid of it. They gave it to us. We take it, and that's what's parked out there now. Didn't cost us anything. If I went out and bought those 2 pieces of equipment, that was probably $750,000 at least that you would have had to pay for, taxpayers. We got it free through the program that they're talking about now, Surplus Military. We have a OH-58 helicopter that's flown in Vietnam. Got it for free through the military program. If you'll notice, SLED just asked for a new helicopter, $3-point-something million to go buy a new helicopter. I can't ask y'all to go give me $3.5 million to buy a helicopter, but I can get it for free on this program. Surplus military equipment helps us. It helps me save money. It helps me get the equipment and stuff that I need to be able to go out there and do our job. Our special response team, it's not a full-time team. These guys and girls on this team, they have other duties, but they're also on our SRT team. They train twice a month, and they do 20 hours of training. You have to be physically fit to be on that team. Every quarter they test it, and they go through it's called CrossFit workout, and they have to pass. You don't pass, you're not on the team. You got to be the strongest, you got to be the best, and you've got to be the smartest. These are the people that we have on our SRT team. They can respond to any situation. That's why we call them special response. It doesn't matter what's needed, they can respond to it. And I want to make sure that they have all the equipment that they need, not only to protect themselves, but to protect you. See, a lot of people have a love-hate relationship with law enforcement. If you see that car behind you while you're driving down the road, you don't like it. You get guilty conscience and you say, I don't want him to stop me, for a ticket. You really don't like them then. At 3 o'clock in the morning, somebody's breaking in your house, you ain't going to call a plumber, are you? You want us then, and you want us to bring everything we got. You want us to bring it. People say, well, we'd never use that. I don't want that. You let your family member be held hostage in a building. You're looking at me to get that family member out safe, and you don't care what I use. You want me to use everything I got. And if I say I don't have it because we didn't get it, what are you going to say then? I haven't done my job. My job is to do the best and provide the best. You're not paying to have an average sheriff's department and an average sheriff. You're not paying to have an average police chief in a police department. You want the best. I want the best. And we are going to have the best. Now, I'm also cheap. Ask my wife, my kids, they'll tell you how cheap I am. So I look for the best deals there. The military provides us those best deals. They have all this equipment that they want to get rid of. They don't need anymore. We get it. We use it. We use it more for public relations than we have anything else. We've never had to roll out that APC and knock a house down. We've never had to take the MRAP yet and take it to a situation we've had to use it. It's been available if we needed it. And the way things are in our community, and our community is no different than anywhere else, the potential's there for it to happen. We got a lot of bad guys out here. And these bad guys don't care. They don't care about you, they don't care about me, they don't care about your family. And they'll do whatever's necessary to carry their crimes out. My job is to stop them. That's what you elect me and pay me to do, is to stop them. And that's what we're going to do. But we're going to do that on the enforcement part, but we're also going to do the other part, the community relations. You need to know what we got and why we got. Everybody in the community needs to know. That's why we take these pieces of equipment out so much and show them. Let people see it. Let kids see it. Let adults see it. So if we ever have to use one, it's not a surprise. People know that we've got it. And it's available for them out there. We've got some of our SRT people here, and they're coming. All right, before y'all freak out, these guns are unloaded. Nobody's got any ammo in their guns. Now you will notice they're big, they're small, they're male, they're female. We have a little bit of everything. Lieutenant Ezell here is the only full-time member. He's full-time in charge of the SRT team. He's the commander. He keeps up with everything, training, equipment, and etc. You probably all know that FN Manufacturers in Richland County. They could not be a better neighbor to us. They provide some of the best weapons that's made. They provide them to the military. They provide them to us. We get good deals on them, okay? And so most of the weapons we carry are from FN Manufacturing. We have a P90 submachine gun, which is a little gun right here. Now you say, well, why you need a little gun like that? Well, you go inside of a house, you don't need a great big long-barreled gun. This is close combat, and you need something small that you can go around. There's a light on it. He's got a aim point on it. It carries 50 rounds. It's fully automatic. That's the magazine. The bullets look like they're little 22 bullets, but they're special design bullets. Secret Service has carried that gun in protection of dignitaries. It comes from FN right here. We were the first agency in the United States to get them because they let us try them out first to tell them what was wrong with them. And we told them a couple of things were wrong, and they made adapted to what we told them, so we have that. The next weapon we got is a SCAR, which is made just for Special Forces. Special Forces Combat Automatic Rifle, that's what it stands for. It actually has 3 barrels. In 2 minutes you can change the barrel length on that gun, and all you do is change the barrel. It doesn't mess up the optics or anything else. You have a long range, you have a longer barrel for long range, you have a mid barrel. What you got on there? You got the short one? He's got the short one. Most of our stuff we're going to do is we're not going to shoot somebody half a mile away. If we're involved in something, it's pretty much going to be close quarters. But we do have the long guns, but this is the guns that we use, the short barrel. Sarah, what you got? Sarah, little Sarah. That's what we call her. I'll have to tell you the story about little Sarah. Little Sarah's probably about the toughest one I got. If y'all remember, a couple years ago, I took a team to California to go through Navy SEAL training. Sarah was one of them that went. She's one of the first females to ever make it through there. Not only did she show the guys up physically, but at the very end, they had to recite something before they could put this big old log down and quit the physical stuff. 30-something guys couldn't remember it. She knew it word for word and said it, and she got them all out. You'll see they've got body armor on. You got taser on. They got tasers. Now, gas masks. We can pretty much do about anything that needs to be done. We've got our aircraft. We've got 2 planes. We've got 2 helicopters. We've got a Huey, also that we got for free. We don't fly that much. The helicopter, the OH-58, is flown every single day. We got it up in the air every day. And we've got 2 planes that we fly them to. We've got boats, so if we need to do something on the water, because we have Lake Murray, these guys and girls are trained to answer any kind of call that we've got on Lake Murray. So it doesn't matter from the air or from the water or whatever, or from land, we're able to do it. Again, their training is second to none. That's what Lieutenant Ezel's in charge of. He makes sure that they're fully trained. We have a team on call 24 hours a day, and they're on call for 2 weeks at a time, then another team takes over. We have bomb specialists. We have EOD that can defuse bombs, and they can blow up a lot of stuff too, and they like to do that, I have to tell you. The chief will tell you, they find a bag laying on the street, they want to blow it up. And I'm going, it's a bomb, why you want to blow it up? They said, that's just the way you do it. It's beyond me, but they do that. But one thing that's unique that we have on our team that you don't see a lot is that we have doctors. We have doctors from Richland Memorial Hospital, emergency room doctors who went through our training program, and they're certified reserve deputies, which means they carry a gun. They go in with the team too, twofold. If one of my guys gets shot, they're there to take care of him. If the bad guy gets shot, he's got immediate medical attention at that point too. So we have the medical personnel that's assigned to us. We have the doctors and we have EMTs. We have what we call internal and external. The internal is the ones who actually go in. When we kick a door and go in, these doctors are going in right in, medics are going right in with us. Then we've got other medics that are on the perimeter, and they're ready too. We want to make sure that if somebody does get hurt, that they get their immediate attention. And you'll see different from Vietnam War until this war that we got going on now, is we're not losing many lives because the medical attention is getting to them a lot quicker. We feed off of that too to make sure that we protect our guys. Now, my job is to protect them and also the public. And so I'm going to give them the equipment that they've got, the training that they've got, they're needed to go out here, and they do that. But we're going to let the public know. None of this is secret. None of these uniforms and stuff that we've got, and he's got night vision stuff. Dominic's got night vision stuff where we can see at night. The community, I want to see all this. We bring this out in the community all the time. We want the community to see it, feel it, touch it, and know what we've got. That builds that relationship. We don't want to have any surprises whatsoever. And so these guys and girls are out there virtually every weekend. Somebody's asking us to come out to their function they got so they can see what we got. And we're going to do that, and we're doing that. Right now, I think we got about 9 minutes left. Answer any questions anybody's got. All in the back.
We appreciate you being here and sharing everything. We know your track record and all the citizens of Richland County know that. We do appreciate it. Question for the future, unless you want to start. Use of drones.
When you think of a drone, you think about this huge airplane that's going around unmanned and shooting people. We've had an unmanned aircraft now for probably 3, 4, 5 years. It's about that big. It's a little old helicopter that one of our Korean deputy, he built it, maintains it, and he flies it. It's got a camera on it. If we're chasing a bad guy, instead of sending these guys in, if I can fly that little helicopter around his house and look, and we can look, if he shoots that little helicopter down, I ain't lost much. Shoots one of them, I've lost a lot. So yeah, we've had one for a long time. We've been using it. We used the bank robbery a couple years ago on Two Knights Road where we got in a run and gun battle. They jumped out in the neighborhood, was running through a neighborhood. We had a little helicopter up and it was flying and it was going before the officers. And it was checking out behind houses and stuff, letting them know where to go. So we've had that. A drone, again, when you think of drone, you think of what the military is using where they're blowing up stuff. We're not doing that. Yes, sir.
I think you answered it, but I'll make sure. The composition of your force matches the demographics of Richland County.
Pretty much, yeah. I have an Egyptian officer, have Korean officers, Hispanic officers. We have officers all kinds. Match a little bit of everything. Yes, sir.
Sheriff, what's the most difficult call you've had since you've been sheriff?
Difficult calls, and I'm going to any call involving a kid, any call where a child has been abused and is dead. That to me, that's the most difficult ones for me personally, and we've had quite a few of those. Those, I don't care how hardened you are, and I've seen a lot of stuff in 39 years. When you see a kid that's been abused, that's something that just gets you. That gets you. So there'd be some cases we've had involving children. Yes, sir.
Sheriff, you have, I think, a tremendous force of resources. What can we do to help you achieve the optimum in terms of tools available to you, technology, those kinds of things, I think, play a big role right now. Do you have a wish list of things that you're just not able to accomplish?
If you can just get Rusty to write a couple more letters to the editor for us, I think we'd be in great shape. The answer is we have the best. Honestly, Richland County Council, I've been chair for 18 years, have never said no to anything that we've asked for because they know if I ask for it, it's something we need. Just like the DNA lab. We did that. We started that in 1999. I went to them and said we need to do our own DNA lab. It took us 4 years before we ever got it. But they know if I ask, so I've got what we need. You can always ask for more. You can always say we need more people. You always need those things, but there's not anything that's out there that we're not already there. And that's one thing that we've always tried to do at the Sheriff's Department is we're not looking at what we need today. I'm looking at what do we need 5 years from now that's going to be the next cutting edge. And all these people that work at the Sheriff's Department, you know, I believe in shared leadership. They all I give them a gun and tell them they can take somebody's life. Why shouldn't I listen to them if they got an idea? And that's what we do. So I welcome them, our DNA people, our SRT people, what they think we need to be doing that's going to be the big thing in 5 years, we start looking at it now. we're there. I mean, we're going to continue to be where we're at. So, county council's been great. There's never been a Republican Democrat thing when it came to county council. It's always about public safety and law enforcement. What do you need to do the best job? They have always taken care of me. I cannot complain. I'm the luckiest sheriff in the state because I hear some of them complain on the relationships they have. It's great with what I've got.
Two questions. One, how do you feel about the cameras that officers or deputies could be wearing as far as training purposes as well as maybe like public relations?
It's great if I could afford all of them. I have 900 people. That's a lot of money, a lot of cameras. We have cameras in our car. We did that some years ago. We're actually upgrading our cameras. That's helped out a lot, and for us to see what's going on, for the public to see what's going on. You know, yeah, I'd love to have a camera on every single one of them. Again, but I have to look at cost-wise. Is that something that's right now? Can I buy? One of these days, I'd love to have that. We actually have some body cameras that we've tried out. Let some officers wear them. Second question.
The looters, the issue in St. Louis, you know, it seems like, at least the media is reporting a lot of it's also people outside of St. Louis come to St. Louis. How could Columbia or how could St. Louis do a better job of trying to deter those people from?
I think what you're seeing now is the good people in St. Louis, in Ferguson, who's upset about the shooting, are just equally upset about the looting and other stuff that people are doing. You know, those people that's breaking into that store and stealing all that liquor, that ain't got nothing to do with the bad guy, the guy who got shot. They're the bad guys. And I think you're seeing now the good people of Ferguson saying, hey, we're not going to talk. That's not our community. We didn't like what the police did, but we don't like what these people are doing either. And I think that's the difference in our community. You'd see that almost automatically here. I don't think our community, the good people, would put up with anybody doing that. They'd put a stop to it too.
Sheriff, a few years back, one of your presentations focused on gang activity. How have things developed since the past 3 or 4 years in Richland County as far as that?
Go back some time, gangs were terrible. We made a big impact on gangs. We were very successful. When we got successful and the media didn't say nothing about it, people got complacent and the gangs came back. 2 summers ago was terrible. We had a terrible summer. And then we started talking about it, and people started saying, okay, you know, yeah, they're here, and they're still here. One of the first things the chief did was take his gang unit and put with my gang unit. They work as one team now, have a Midlands gang unit. That was the very first thing that we did when we talked, is he knew that. The gangs are there, they're still doing stuff, but they're not taking over our community like they tried to do. There's some tough ones. If you'll read the paper this past weekend, John Monk covered a story about a guy named Wallace who killed 2 people and tried to kill a third one. He was in a gang. I mean, he's just pure gang. What happens when you get in a gang, 1 or 2 things are going to happen. You're either going to go to prison or you're going to end up in a cemetery. He's a good example of that. Yes, sir.
Do you share your DNA lab with other agencies? I know that every county can't afford one.
Yeah, we do. We make it available. We charge other agencies for just what we have in it. We don't make any money off of it. What our personnel cost is and what the equipment we use, the materials we expect, we just charge them for that. We do it for a lot of different agencies that come to us. We can do DNA now in 45 minutes. You know, it used to be a year and a half if you could get it. Then it went down to 30 days. Then it went down to a couple of days. Now we're the only agency there's one other agency in the whole United States, and it's the police department in Florida has a piece of equipment we have now that'll do DNA in 45 minutes. Can't get any better than that. Who would have ever thought that? See, that's things that we've been looking forward to and seeing. That's what we needed to have. One more question. Yes, sir.
Yeah, in addition to the fingerprinting, when you bring somebody in, are you now doing DNA tests on so you'll have it on record?
We ask them. A lot of times they just say, yeah, go ahead, and they consent. Hint, hint, yeah, we do. You can ask somebody to take their DNA, which is take a Q-tip and just run it in their mouth. We ask them, and if they consent to it, then we take it from them. Most of them tend to want to, they'll be compliant, they give it to you. But everybody who's convicted of a felony now has to be, the DNA comes from them, so the database on the DNA has gotten bigger and bigger, and it's getting better and better. But we do also have our own internal database on DNA. Thank y'all.